Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC.
A weekly podcast and YouTube channel where we discuss all things Wrexham AFC from the point of view of long-term fans and new fans.
So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in.
Hello and welcome to episode 110 of Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC podcast.
So coming up on this week's show, we're gonna have a chat about the opening day game against Wickham.
Yes.
We've got a new signing to talk about. We're gonna have a little chat about the fan zone as well. Some of the feedback that came back from people about the fan zone. We're gonna look ahead to the EFL Cup opener against Sheffield United, and also we're gonna look ahead to the game at Bolton next Sunday, so that's all quite exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Look, there's a few comments we wanted to read out from last week's show. Kerry said, congrats on the new job, Sian.
Thank you.
I was listening alone in an elevator and pumped my fist in the air for you.
Oh, that made me so happy when I read that.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Michael Smith, congratulations on the new job. Paul Kelly, congrats on your new job, Sian. Looking forward to the new season in League One and your podcasts. Marta Von Gray, friend of the show, congratulations on the new job.
Everyone's a friend of the show.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I've just singled you out as a friend of the show. Blue Nose, congrats on the new job. Sabungay, beaming for Sian and the new job.
Aww.
Jonathan Longfield said that him and his son were coming from Yorkshire to the game on Saturday. Managed to get some tickets in the temporary cop. Looking forward to it up the town.
I'll read this one by Sarah. I loved it so much when Ryan said, know your worth. Huge congratulations on your job again, Sian. Really looking forward to your match day lives. So looking forward to this whole season. I really think we have a chance of back to back to back. If you had to pick one away match for someone travelling from the States to go see, which would it be? Or top three? I'm afraid to try and plan a trip for a home match and not being able to get tickets. Met a couple from Texas at the Vancouver game and that was their plan, to try and see an away match. Love the opening banter. You guys always brighten up my Monday mornings.
Okay, so which would I pick? I suppose I'm going to shout out two games for you, Sarah. Both of these, I wouldn't pay any attention. They're completely irrelevant because one would be Bolton, but that is on Sunday, and I don't think you're going to get a trip planned to get over for Sunday, so you'll have to put that one in the bin, but that would have been one that I'd have picked out. The other one would be Birmingham.
Yes.
Away, I would say. Now, it depends what you want from the trip because this game's been moved to a Monday, unfortunately. We would have loved it to have been on a Saturday and made a nice day out of it. But it's been moved to a Monday night. If that doesn't bother you, perhaps maybe look at the Birmingham one. There's a few, really. Charlton,
yeah. I'm looking forward to that one.
Reading as well. That should be a really good one. Blackpool. That would be a really good one. That's next year in April. I'm just sort of picking out games. One, decent-sized grounds, good allocation. You shouldn't struggle too much to get tickets as long as you're on time and on it.
I don't know how it works for international fans for away. Is it just like exactly?
I'm not sure if I'm perfectly honest.
Obviously, they get an allocation for home games, but do they get allocations for away games?
I'm not sure. But yeah, they're the ones I'd sort of keep an eye out for. Wigan as well is another one. I'd highly recommend Blackpool, to be honest, because
you'd love it, Sarah.
A lot of people ask us, what is it about Blackpool? I don't know, really. It's just
a poor man's Vegas, isn't it?
It's weird. It's like a nostalgic thing for us, especially in the Northwest.
Yeah.
Because it's very much somewhere that all of us sort of went as kids, sort of like a seaside town. It maybe isn't what it once was, but I think it would be an interesting experience for you to go to Blackpool.
Yeah, you've got the Blackpool Tower, which is like the Eiffel Tower.
yeah.
It's not.
No, look, I would, if I was you, Sarah, I've shouted a few out there, but I would genuinely look at some of the teams like Reading, like Wigan, like Blackpool, as I say, and and Birmingham and Charlton and Barnsley as well. Teams that have got...
She said top 3.
I know, sorry.
Just all the away games.
Look, let's rewind a little bit. Blackpool, I'd put that high on your list.
Yes.
And someone like Birmingham. But what I was going to say is, the reason I was shouting out loads of others, they're teams with big grounds. So you're going to get more tickets at teams like that than you maybe at some of the smaller grounds. So more tickets equals a better chance of getting a ticket. Ultimately, this is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Sarah.
and sometimes, like they did with the Bolton game, they released a certain amount. I think it was like just over 2,000, and then a couple of weeks later, they released more. So that might be the case for some of these other grounds as well.
Maybe.
But obviously, we don't know that until they release them. So.
No, and as the season goes on as well, what you might notice is if there's a team with a big ground that perhaps isn't doing very well in the league, they might release more away tickets. So their allocation might be 1,500. But if the team aren't doing very well and their attendances are a little bit poor, they might give you another little bit of the stand. So it might go from 1,500 to 2,000 or 2,500.
Yeah.
Maybe. So it depends on the season. But send us an email. Sarah, because I know you've messaged us a few times before. Send us an email and we'll help you out and give you a few ideas. I think that's probably best.
And obviously, whichever one you do decide to go to, let us know. And obviously, if we manage to get tickets, we can meet up again.
Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. Andy said congrats on the job. Andy Stadinsky. Andrea Tannehill. As has already been said by others, congrats on your new job, Shan. I'm thrilled that you had multiple offers and got to pick the one that was best for you. Looking forward to this season. My prediction is that we will be in 4th place and we'll be in the playoffs. With our signings this summer and whoever we will sign in January, I think another promotion is definitely possible.
I think so.
I wanted to just make a quick point about this because some people will be more than aware, some people will not be aware. Just because the season has started, that doesn't mean the transfer window is closed. The transfer window is open up until the end of this month.
Yeah.
So we can still sign players. The ideal window for signing players is before the season starts. You can try and integrate them in and get them ready for the start of the season. But that being said, it's not always possible, and there may be an opportunity to sign players up until the end of this month, and that is when the window closes, and then we'll reopen in January. So just wanted to make that clear for everybody.
A comment from WWE 2 Cunny Versatility.
2K, not 2 Cunny. That sounds a bit odd. 2K. WWE 2K Universe Lite.
Yeah.
Elite. Sorry.
Wrexham fan from the Philippines. Looking forward to the new season. Bought all the gear and going to support you guys as you fight for promotion again.
Ah, fair. Welcome from the Philippines.
Yeah.
Cunny.
Sorry.
Look, if you do want to get in touch, you can comment on this video down below. We try and read out as many as we can. We can't, it's not always possible. But if you do want to get in touch, you can get in touch on X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or weirdly, Threads as well. Because even though Shan isn't posting on Threads,
I am posted on Threads.
Oh, you are now?
Well, no, it's automatic.
They cross-post. So anything Shan's putting on Instagram is getting cross-posted over to Threads. So,
and we've got 222 followers, which we...
Shan just happened to go on it the other day. So Threads, let's include Threads.
Yeah.
Or you can email us at me, the wife, and wrexhamafc@gmail.com. Look, if you want to support the show, we have a Buy Me a Coffee page. That is buymeacoffee.com/me, the wife. We've got a few people to thank this week. Zach, you said, love the show. I listen to the podcast weekly to stay up to date on all things Wrexham AFC. My wife and I were able to get tickets to the Reading match on the 24th of August. It'll be our first match at the Kai Ras, and we are really looking forward to it. Reach out, Zach, and if we can do something, we'll come and have a drink with you or something like that.
I'm assuming you're in the temporary cop. So let us know where you're sitting, because my parents are going in the temporary cop. So maybe you'll be close together and you can
have a chat. Also a shout out for Sky, Chris, Karen and Jamie this week. Thank you very much for all of your support.
So, last Friday, was it Friday? Yes, it was. It was one of the days last week. So we had a new signing. It was rumoured that this particular player was at the ground having a medical, and when that happens, you kind of know that it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't think they always say they're at the ground having a medical. They don't do the medicals at the ground. They've got a place that they go to to have the medicals done, which is somewhere else other than the ground. But yeah, it was a poorly kept secret.
It was a poorly kept secret, really.
Yeah,
I did a story on I think it was either Thursday afternoon, basically saying rumoured Ollie Rathbone from Rotherham,
yes,
who got relegated last season into League One.
Yeah, they did.
So we will be obviously playing those home and away. So as usual, it was an undisclosed fee. But it was reported that it was a club record fee. So,
but we don't know what. See, this is the weird thing about the club. We don't want other people knowing what we're spending. For good reason, because everyone from the outside looking in assumes we have bottomless pockets. So we don't want other clubs knowing what we're spending. So we do this thing where the fee is undisclosed. You don't have to disclose the fee to the media. So that's what we do. Now, when we signed Ollie Palmer a while back, he was our club record signing for 300,000. Now, that wasn't even supposed to be released. We released it as undisclosed. But the club that he came from, they released how much it was, which was a little bit naughty at the time. So it became our club record fee. Now, as we say, it has been rumoured that Ollie Rathbone is now...
Another Ollie?
Another Ollie has been... a club record fee has been paid for him. We don't know how much that is. But equally, what we also don't know is if any of the players between Ollie Palmer and Ollie Rathbone have also broke that record because they were all undisclosed. So, but rumours are this is a club record fee.
So he is a midfielder, and he signed a 3-year deal with the club. He had his youth career at Man United.
Yeah.
He's 5'7", which is
Did he?
Yeah. And he's a 27-year-old midfielder, so which is. Always good to have these. We've got quite a few young players in the team now, which is good. But also we've got the obviously experienced players like James McLean.
I wouldn't call him young. I would call him. I think he falls more towards the experienced player.
Okay.
For me, a young.
I mean, 27's young to me, but
it's young, very young to me as well. But in footballing terms, I wouldn't call it young. I think you sort of start your career in a first team somewhere at the age of sort of 17, 18. So he's had a good 10 years. He's obviously been involved in football a long time before that as well, being a Man United academy product. I think youthful enough, but enough experience in there as well. He was Rotherham's captain as well last season. So we do like signing other people's captains at the moment. We obviously got George Dobson, but George was a little bit of a weird one because he had already left Charlton to go somewhere else. So we didn't technically sign him from Charlton. But look, I think the more players you can bring in with them sort of captain/leadership qualities, the better, to be honest. I don't think you want loads of them because you might end up with a lot of conflicting opinions. But, I do like a strong personality in a team. So he played 42 games in the Championship last season. Obviously,
scored 1 goal.
You could argue he's dropped down. 1 goal, 1 assist. So I don't think he's going to be banging them in left, right and centre for us. But you could argue he's dropping down the level, but if he'd have stayed where he was, he'd have been in League One anyway, because like Sian said, they got relegated from the Championship last season. Everyone seems really happy with this one. Seems like a really good signing. I think it's throwing another player into the mix in an already very congested area. And we're going to come on to the sort of starting 11 and who played on Saturday when we talk about Wigan. But, you've got some fantastic players who are going to be missing out on game time now. I'm not talking about, okay, yeah, probably a fringe player. I'm talking about really
starting 11 players,
really good players. And you look at it and you go, well, I just don't know. Because I think when we're talking about midfield as well, I'm not including Elliot Lee in that because he's a more advanced midfielder. So I think Elliot is a player that is going to play week in, week out in that sort of attacking midfielder role. It's so that makes it even more confusing because behind him, there are only 2 spaces. There's 2 places and you've got such a wealth of talent in behind there. It's going to be really interesting to see how that sort of pans out for the rest of the season for me.
But like you said, like rotation is good. I know you said that you do like to have quite a solid midfield.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a nice problem to have, isn't it?
From what I've seen of Dobson recently, I think we'll come on to him a little bit more, but I think he's going to like a yellow card this season. So I think there's going to come a point when he might miss a couple of games due to sort of accumulated bookings. You've also got injuries to think about as well. And again, we will come on to it in a minute, but to see someone like George Evans on Saturday coming off the bench, and you're looking and I think it's been quite a while since you've had some people coming off the bench that you go,
he should have been starting.
There's an argument for them starting the game, he was in
my starting 11.
Yeah.
He's the only player that I got wrong in the starting 11.
Well, that's it. Look, it's nice problems to have, isn't it?
It is, definitely, yeah.
We'll talk about that now. So the Wickham game, sun was shining. Happy to be back.
It was just amazing. Like getting to see the people that we sit by, having a chat with them, seeing what they've been up to. It's just been... The thing that I did miss is our steward behind us, who was always there.
Yes.
I don't know where he went.
No, I
think he does listen to the podcast. So where are you? Where have you been? Where have you gone?
Yeah, so we got to our seats and the steward, who usually stands right behind us, he just wasn't there. He might be on holiday. Let's wait and see what happens in the next game. But
I hope so, because I really like it.
If you are out there, please let us know where you are.
So it was a really, really nice atmosphere. Everybody was just loud and singing, and the Rob and Ryan were there, which was nice.
So there was a desperate housewife there?
Yeah, Eva Longoria.
Yeah, she was there.
there.
I think there's very much if anyone was confused by that, obviously Rob and Ryan have bought in and invested in Necaxa, who are a Mexican football team. Eva Longoria is one of the celebrities, as it were, that is also invested in Necaxa. So there is a link and a connection.
Ooh, I wonder whether she's going to be investing in Wrexham.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure that's the sort of model Rob and Ryan are going for moving forward. There's lots of people. I think Odell Beckham Jr. is one of the people who are sort of invested in Necaxa. I think Mesut Ozil is another one. I think there's quite a few, and I'm not sure how much of a fan I am of having
loads of celebrities,
10 celebrity owners, but I don't know. It's something to ponder for the future. It was
just very bizarre to have Rob, Ryan, Eva Longoria standing above you. It was very, very strange.
We had a chat with quite a few people before the game. We had a chat with Sky. We had a chat with Marcus and his wife, who I was like, what are you doing here? So they're from Vegas, aren't they?
Vegas,
from Vegas, and I turned around and they were just there, and I was like, wow, what are you doing here? And then we were sort of talking to 2 people at once.
Well, you were talking to Sky and I was talking to
them. And then we had a little chat and then we had to go in. And I was like, oh, as if they were going. And then Sian did turn to me and say, oh, actually, I did know they were coming and I forgot to tell you, didn't you?
I did, yeah. To be fair, though, it was a late message, and he did say that it was a late message. I think they were going to go to Paris.
Yes.
To watch something, but then it was like Paris.
For the Olympics.
Yeah. Paris or Wrexham. And they chose Wrexham. So they managed to get tickets. They were in the temporary
Obvious choice.
Yeah, obviously. They were in the temporary cop. They were in the fan zone. Let us know know what you both thought of the fan zone. Actually, we are going to talk about that a little bit later, but I'd love to know your opinions on it.
And anyone else as well who happen to be in the fan zone. We'd love to hear what you've got to think. We don't want to be stretching out and talking about it for weeks and weeks, but we are quite interested of what you thought of the fan zone.
And also, last Thursday we met up with Jay, Meg, and Jules. They're from New York.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Salt of the earth people. They are just.
Yeah, it was.
Do you know when you first meet people? Well, this is just me, I think. When you first meet people, you kind of think, do you know what? I find it difficult to kind of make small talk.
Yeah.
Felt like I've known these all my life. They were just so kind. Jules and our son Alfie are similar age.
Yeah.
And Meg and I were talking, and it is scary.
Yeah.
Considering obviously they're from America, Alfie's from Wales, how parallel our sons are in regards to everything in their lives. It is so weird. But amazing. It was so good to speak to you all.
It was. We originally planned to meet up with Jay in the turf on Saturday, but we were a little unsure of how busy it was going to be and the time we were going to get there. Yeah, it was very busy, but I think we could have got in. I don't think there was a huge queue, and I think the outside area helped alleviate, a lot of that as well. So we probably could have done it, but we were a bit worried that we weren't going to be able to meet up with them. So we made some time to go meet them on Thursday.
It was nice as well to kind of be away from like the, that sort of the noise and everything. Although it was noisy in Vault 33, to be fair. It was nice to kind of have a proper sit down with them, proper chat. And it was really nice. A nice way to end our Thursday, I think.
It was. Just to let you guys know, Jay and Meg, because obviously we had a chat and I said I'd been up since 4 a.m. for work. I had a couple of beers with you, went home and I just fell asleep. Instantly fell asleep.
I had to wake him up at 10 to 10, like, Ryan, you've got to be up at 4 again tomorrow, so I think it's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
And it was quite difficult to wake you up.
Yeah, I think, to be honest,
School day drinking is not good.
No, the amount of time we spent, I think I was very much at my limit for how much I could be out of the house at that time of the evening. So,
bonus for me, though, I got to watch what I wanted on the telly.
Yeah, definitely. Look, there was no place for Ollie Rathbone in the squad. Not a huge surprise. Didn't expect him to walk straight in.
Yeah.
I think it was 50-50 for me. I thought he will either not be in the matchday squad at all, or he'd start the game. I didn't know which way it was going to go, but he wasn't in the squad. So Revon was on the bench, no place for Brunt in the squad, and Dan Scarr was on the bench as well.
Is that purely because, I don't even think Dan Scarr's got a number yet. That's obviously, he's obviously not ready. And the same with Lewis Brunt, maybe. He's not ready either. But obviously Revon came on, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, George Dobson was the only signing that started, apart from Arthur. We'll put Arthur to one side.
Arthur's old. Yeah, he's an old soul, isn't he?
Yes. So
old soul.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
So George Dobson started. McLean captain.
Yeah.
Is it going to stay like that?
I don't know. I guess when we go away on Sunday to Bolton, we'll see. Maybe.
I don't think anything's going to change for Bolton. Let's put it like that. I think.
Are we waiting for McMullen to come back in to see what happens?
That's what.
You did ask that question.
Yeah,
yesterday.
I did, and you were a bit confused whether Mullin wanted to be captain.
Yeah, I don't know. He's quite an integral part of the club. So, is it good to have a striker as a captain? No, we've said this before.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but
I would say more. I would say, but like you said, we've had signings who are like obviously Ollie Rathbone, captain before he came to Wrexham.
Yeah. George
Dobson. So we've got a few options. But does Parky want a captain who has been there for a long time? Obviously,
we didn't do that with Ben, did he? When Ben Tozer came in, he was club captain straight away.
Yeah, but I don't know whether that was one of the kind of deal breakers for him. I don't know.
You don't know if
it could have been.
You don't know.
You don't know. But then again, if George Dobson was coming in, why wasn't he captain yesterday? It's just, you know.
Yeah. I do get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also noticed Jimmy taken Jordan Davis's number as well. He was number 7, which I didn't think that was going to be the case.
Because obviously Jordan Davis is out on loan to Grimsby. Yeah. I thought, you know, they kind of keep that number for because he's been number 7 for donkeys.
Yeah, but you can move numbers around.
I know, but it's just weird, isn't it? Because when we were watching the game yesterday, you had you had Luke Young's number on there.
Yeah.
You had
Ben Tozer,
obviously Cleworth, and then you had obviously Owen O'Connell had number 5,
which was Hayden.
Obviously McLean had number 7.
Yeah,
so it was like, you know, because you kind of get used to the numbers, and then you're going, oh. Yeah. I've got to relearn all these now.
I know. We had a nice minute of pause for Arthur as well.
We did.
Our thoughts go out to Arthur's family.
Yeah. Bless him.
Yeah, amazing man.
Sad.
It is, and I'm just so happy that he got to be part of the documentary. I think that was such a nice thing to have happened.
His memory will live on forever.
Yeah,
because he was such a
Yes, he was. I thought we'd scored early on, to be honest, when Cannon shot. When their player went down with a bit of a head injury, Cannon had a shot, and it ricocheted off 2 of their defenders and just sort of rolled past the post.
It was so close though, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had like a bit of a break in play, a good sort of between 5 and 10 minutes while their player had a head injury.
Do we know what happened to him? Did he go off?
No, he didn't go off. He came back on. The 2 Wickham defenders went up for the ball and clashed heads basically, and he had a bit of a head injury.
Oh, it was those 2. It was 2 Wickham players. That's fine. Then it wasn't one of ours.
And then from the resulting corner, when we did get back underway, Max scored.
Striker. Max Cleworth needs to change positions to striker. I just love Max Cleworth.
I know.
Every time I see him,
he just sort of reached out a leg, corner come over, reached out a leg, scored. I like, for me, I'm surprised Max hasn't scored more. I think he's really good in the air. I think he's got a good presence. He's right in the mix, from them corners. I'm surprised more hasn't fallen to him, if I'm honest. And look, and I think we need to. For me, I'd like to see him get sort of 5 or 6 a season. I think that'd be a really good return for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will.
Scoring the first goal of the new season.
Wasn't it his 100th game? I think it was Max's 100th game as well. Maybe.
I don't know. But, sure. I mean, how amazing for a young lad. He's 22 at the end of this. Was he just turned 22?
No, he is 22.
He just turned 22, wasn't he?
I'm not sure.
Oh, I can't remember.
No,
anyway.
No, I think he's 23 now, isn't he?
Possibly. Anyway. By the by, he's a young lad.
Yeah.
First time in League One, and a long time coming for obviously the club as a whole. 19 years. It was the last time we were in this league, and it was. I was so happy that he was the one that scored the first goal.
Yeah, and me. To be honest, I mean, it was nice. Can I make a request as well? Anyone from the club who listens to this, can you please fix that speaker? That was just consistently...
Was that what it was?
Yeah, it was a speaker that was just like clicking all the way through the game. If you watch the highlights back, you can even hear it on the highlights. It was really annoying.
It was.
Every people were just looking at each other going, what's that noise? And so that was really annoying and off-putting, if I'm honest. I said to you before the game, I said, Marriott needs to do something today.
Yeah.
I said he needs to put in either a really good performance, or he needs to score, or he needs to assist, or he needs to do something. Not so much for us, the fans,
for him,
but for him.
Yeah.
He needed to do something to build that confidence. There's a few people who said he is very much a confidence player. So we just needed to see something from him on Saturday. A
lot of people were saying as well that, is this signing just another Billy Waters signing?
Yes.
And then obviously after the game, people were then saying, I think we can put the Billy Waters comparison to bed now.
Look, 29th minute. Really nice approach play.
Beautiful.
Ollie, it really was. I think Elliot Lee played it forward. Ollie flicked it off to Jack. took it down on his chest. Amazing finish. Obviously, when you're at the game, you only get to see the goal once. There's no replay or anything like that. But just seeing it that once, it looked like a really good, really special goal for me.
I think I've watched it about 4 times.
Yeah, I have seen the replay back, and it does look really good. And I'm just happy that not only because he scored once before against Forest Green. That to me was a little bit of a nothing goal, in the sense of it was a little tap in from close range. It was in a game that we'd already won. It wasn't really sort of, adding any value to the game as such. But that on Saturday, a couple of things. It was good control on his chest. It was a superb goal of the season contender goal in the first game. I know but yeah, and it really was. And it was at an important moment, being 1-0 up. So I think all of them things combined would have done Jack the world of good. I really do, to build a little bit of confidence there for him. Wickham had their chances, to be perfectly honest.
They were a good team, to be fair, but they were very shirt-pully, though, I think.
I'm not bothered by stuff like that.
It bothers me.
Yes, everyone does that, so that's fine. That's not an issue for me. They hit the bar twice.
That, I was having palpitations at that point.
Yeah.
Because there was, loads of players around the in the box, and it was just like,
pinging about.
Yeah, and I couldn't. Because there were so many players, I couldn't see what was happening with the ball. And it bounced off, it hit the crossbar, then it kind of did something else, then it hit and it was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, so 2 separate incidents, hit the bar twice. Look, we were 2-0 up at half time.
Yeah.
Don't think you could have asked for more. They're 19 years away from League One, to come back and to be 2-0 up at half time. I thought we were the better team. I'm going to say it, and I know we're very biased, but I do think we were the better team. Equally, I'm not stupid enough to think that it was all plain sailing, and we could have easily gone in at 2-2 at half time.
Yeah. Could
have easily been 2-2, but it was 2-0, and I was really happy. I was talking to Steve at half time, Tappy, who runs Wrexham Training Revival.
Oh, yeah.
I sort of sneaked up.
I never see him. You always see him.
I
never see him.
But you don't leave your seat, that's why.
Nah.
So I'd sneaked up at the side of him, and I went, step up in class, I don't think so. And I was joking, but it was nice to be able to make a joke like that, in the sense of going, look, I don't think this is a huge step up in class, because we were 2-0 up.
Look,
I'm not saying it's not. It most definitely is. But it was just nice to make that little joke at that moment, because we were doing so well.
Yeah.
To be honest. I tell you what was really annoying about the day. We were unable to do a live at half time, were we? So the phone signal in the ground was awful. I mean, it was absolutely horrendous. We couldn't get on any sort of we couldn't check the scores of the games. We couldn't get on X, on Facebook, on Instagram. We couldn't do our live at halftime. We couldn't do anything, could we?
No, it was disappointing.
It was really disappointing. So we apologise for not being able to do that, but obviously that was the reason why. A few people were asking if there was free Wi-Fi at the ground, which was rumoured, but we couldn't find any free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we looked on obviously the networks on our Wi-Fi, and the only one that was there had needed a password, so it isn't free.
No.
I don't know whether that's something that's kind of in progress. I don't know, but it was bizarre, because obviously last season the signal improved massively, didn't it? And then now it's kind of gone back to the way it was. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know. One thing I noticed about the first half is just how progressive we were as a team. I think we've been so used, even though we've had really good seasons, I think one of the frustrations of the fans, myself included, I think I'd say, is how much we've passed the ball sideways a lot. Sideways around the back, backwards a little bit. Oh, back to the keeper, back out to the defenders, sideways, into midfield, maybe back to the defence. I understand that strategy. It's about frustrating your opponents and being patient, looking for gaps. But I think last season that the main gripe from a lot of people was, yeah, I understand being patient, but at the same time, in them periods of play, there were loads of opportunities to get the ball forward. On Saturday, I think we definitely saw that. Very progressive, always looking forward, always looking to play the ball either up into midfield or up to the strikers. I was so happy with the way that they set up, the way that they played. And I think it's a huge hats off to George Dobson for me, because when he got on the ball, I think he was always looking forward. You know, he did play sideways passes, he did play out to the wings, but he was always, his first instinct was always, let's get the ball forward. And so I was really happy with the way that first half went.
I think I like him.
I think he's great.
Yeah, and I did make a joke yesterday on our full-time live that, did you notice that his hair did not move all game?
No.
That's, you know, I wonder what he's using in his hair.
Yeah, I know, because that is, it's a great endorsement, because it is.
Yeah, it was like,
if you want your hair to stick, use some of that. McLean had a header just over, didn't he, from Barney's cross early in the second half. I think a big shout out to Barney from me, because when a player, we've obviously signed him from Solihull while we were in the National League. So he was very much a National League player when we signed him. He's jumped up to League Two with us, and now he's jumped up to League One. Sometimes players can get found out quite quickly when they move up the leagues. Sometimes you'll get players who transfer from National League up to League One, or players who go up and then go up again. They do tend to get found out. Barney, for me, I thought he was great on Saturday.
He was.
I don't think he looked out of place at all.
No.
One iota. I thought he was superb, if I'm perfectly honest. And yeah, so a big shout out for him. After that McLean chance, I think came a pivotal moment in the game for me, and it's the thing that meant the game finished in the way that it did. It was the ball forward. Wickham defender got his head on it, but just managed to sort of push it sideways and backwards a little bit instead of getting rid of it. Marriott threw on goal, 1-on-1, hit it, went to put it through Bishop's legs, and Bishop saved it.
Yeah.
And it just went past the post. That, to me, was absolutely pivotal in that game, because that goes in.
Yeah.
That's 3-0.
Yeah.
That kills the game for me. And I think we potentially could have gone. I think it would have knocked the stuffing out of Wickham. Going 3-0 down with still half an hour to play. I think it would have reshaped that second half for me. And I think we maybe would have gone on to score another one after that. 4. I'm not saying Wickham wouldn't have scored, but I just think that would have been enough to deflate them and keep them down. But unfortunately, look, one thing that surprised me, Nathan Bishop did get some stick.
Every time he had the ball, he
got the ball, he got booed. But he didn't get as much abuse as I thought he would. I thought he was going to get some really sort of like, people were going to go all in on him. They didn't really, did they? They just booed him every time he got the ball.
Yeah, but I think the fact is, though, I don't think obviously in our pre-season when he injured Paul Mullen, I don't think he intentionally meant to hurt him. So
yeah, but he intentionally meant to take him out.
Did he?
I think so.
Oh, boo!
Boo to you. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I think something like that as well. When Marriott he didn't miss the chance as such. It was well saved. I think something like that can reinvigorate the team that are losing as well. In the sense of they were sort of like, oh, we were nearly completely out of it, but we're still only 2 goals down. We have got a chance. And literally a couple of minutes after that, really scrappy goal. Kone put it right in the decent finish, to be perfectly honest. I think he was playing non-league football last season or the season before. But anyway, good finish. But I was really happy with the response to that, because we were progressive, we were pushing forward, we didn't just sit back and sort of let them come on to us and just try and defend to protect that lead. And 83 minutes, we got our reward. I am sort of gutted that the first chance didn't go in. So the Lee played a lovely 1-2 with Dalby, and Dalby's little flick, Lee in, the keeper saved it, and I was gutted that didn't go in. That would have been another fantastic goal. As it turned out, it was a fantastic goal anyway. It fell to Stephen Fletcher on the edge of the box. He just dinked it over the keeper, right in the top corner. Great finish, 3-1. Everyone can breathe a little bit. But it's a typical team that's 2 goals ahead with not very long to go. And we just sat in. Yeah. And it's very hard. Somebody asked this on the full-time live that we did. What do? Do you keep attacking, or do you just, defend the lead that you've got? Is pushing too much, leaving in space in behind? Maybe, but I think we just sat in too much. We were just that end of the spectrum a little bit, where we just sat in a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy they scored as late as they did. I had to be a bloody Welshman as well. He scored. Sam Vokes. I mean, Sam Vokes has made a career out of being really good in the air and winning headers. I remember him scoring in Euro 2016 against Belgium with a header for Wales. And he's made a whole career out of it, and they just sort of left him unmarked a little bit. I think Sam Dalby was trying to cover him, and Sam Vokes has got loads of experience. He just manoeuvred him out of the way, and it was pretty much unmarked in the box. And it was a little bit, a game that felt so comfortable for long periods just became a bit of a nail biter. And it's sort of, and even then when it went to 3-2, we just kept sitting off them. And I just had this horrible feeling. I was like, oh no, don't ruin it right at the end for us. But
they didn't.
We held on, and it was uncomfortable last 5 minutes, but we got there.
Oh, we got the 3 points. I was just watching the clock ticking down. It was like, oh my God, just stop. Just blow the whistle so we can just relax.
Well, and we can enjoy this. Jack Marriott got man of the match.
He did.
Opinion?
Don't get me wrong, I think he deserved it. But for me, there were a couple of other players which I thought deserved it as well. I think one of them you would agree with. George Dobson, I think he was just amazing.
I think so, yeah.
And also Owen O'Connell, I thought he was really good yesterday. On Saturday, sorry. I think he kind of went under the radar a bit.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with both of them. I think for me it was George Dobson was man of the match.
Yeah.
I would agree with you about Owen O'Connell. I thought he did go under the radar a little bit. There was a lot of occasions people tried to take him on, and he was just very solid. Yeah. And I think he did his job extremely well.
Maybe his numbers like bringing him low.
Maybe it is, but I thought he was superb.
Yeah, but definitely. I mean, well deserved to Jack Marriott though. To be fair, I'm again, like you say, confidence thing. Getting man of the match as well. That's only going to boost your confidence even more, isn't it?
I think the target for me is 18 wins. That's where I would like to be. 18 wins.
In a row?
No, I don't think 18 wins is playoffs necessarily, but it's up there, around there. So in my head, I'm just thinking, I'm trying to count down to 18 wins. 18 wins is well above the relegation. It's up towards the playoff area. And for me, if the quicker you can get to that 18, just says how in the mix you are for playoffs and promotion and all that sort of stuff. So in my head, the target is 18. One of them is done. We've got one of them, 17 more to go, and we've got loads of time. So that's my target. That's my personal target anyway. So we got some comments about the fan zone to read out.
So I put a post on yesterday asking about the fan zone, and Lucy Wrexham said, I thought it was great. Plenty to do there sometimes, but not all times you get a chance to meet the players. I'll start that again. Plenty to do in there. Sometimes, but not all the times, you can get a chance to meet the players, obviously, before the game. But obviously not every game. Food and drink were decent. Live music was great. Big screen in there. Well, I've seen some videos and it did look bouncing in there, to be fair.
Alid said, was in the fan zone with wife and kids around 3:30, had a table. Kids had free M&S sweets for predicting the score. Had their face painted for free. Bloke singing was good. Can't remember his name. It was Danny Gruff.
He played at our wedding.
He played at our wedding, yeah.
So that's Danny Gruff's music.
Yes, so that's who it was, in case you're wondering. No queues pre-match for a pint. Toilets, no queues. Then half-time. Couldn't open until the half-time whistle went. It's a little bit weird. In our stand, they do, but I know in the tech end, they don't open until half-time either. Food was decent, I have to say. Spent more than I normally would, but it's the first game of the season, and we're over from Ireland, so thought, let's do it. Going forward, they should charge less for kids, in my opinion, £5. I do think the fine weather and the first game of the season vibe was a factor as to why I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I come over from Ireland 5 or 6 times a season, so I'll be doing it. If I lived local, not sure, especially midweek games, staff fantastic, especially the lady in the blazer, really checked up on fans and coming up to the table, etc. Paul Mullins showed up too.
Becky Price, credit where it was due. This was a great experience and plenty of space. Loved seeing Mullen and Rathbone join us for a sneaky meet and greet. Well done. Even better, we got those 3 points.
Yeah, Medwin said, well, my daughter and I thoroughly enjoyed the fan zone. Great atmosphere, good singer. Rex the Dragon was there, a meet and greet with Paul and Ollie Rathbone. We also had a lovely pizza. My only complaint, there was no wine or Prosecco available, only lager. We also went there post-match for another drink before catching our train home. On the flip side of that.
Yeah, David Blakely. Nothing extra you could get outside of the fan zone behind the temp stand, only for a large TV. Beer pumps stopped working, massive queues. Not open early enough at half time. Had to queue again and not open at all after the game to see results. So if you go to the turf, plenty of opportunities before and after the game for all of the above points. And guess what? You were not charged £10 extra for the privilege. So many people complaining. Even the club stewards were saying it's embarrassing.
It's weird that, isn't it? Because there are very contrasting opinions there on that. So I suppose it depends what you want.
What you want,
out your experience.
Yeah.
Just a quick mention about our Fantasy EFL. We've actually got 41 participants in our league at the moment. We're 29th. In that, so we won't talk
I would
about
just
that.
like to say, when Ryan says we, he's the one that does it. So
yeah, look,
nothing to do with me.
Unfortunately, we can't see the first names of the people in the league, so I'm just going to read out as we can see it. So we've got E. Hubner, C. Chandler, and M. Bride. That is first, second, and third in the league at the moment.
Well done.
If you could, everyone could just comment down below. If you're in the league, just tell us what your name is so we can read out your actual first name as opposed to just your initial and your surname. If you're happy for us to do that, we will read out the top 3 every week.
And hopefully we'll get up there. So the league code, if you do want to join, I don't think, can they still join?
I'm not sure.
If you can join, the code is A39GBOYF. I'm not sure you can. I'm sure you can only.
I'm not sure your points will count. Now the first week's gone.
Yeah, so not sure, but anyway, there you go.
Look, we got 2 games coming up this week, haven't we?
We have. So Tuesday we've got the EFL Cup.
Yes.
At Bramall at Bramall Lane, Sheffield United, which is obviously away. That's Tuesday the 13th of August. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock British summer time. Phil confirmed that he is going to be making some changes.
Yeah, not surprising. No, to be honest.
European qualifying teams in round 3.
Yeah,
Prem teams enter in round 2.
They do. So all the Premier League teams enter in round 2. So that's who we could draw if we went through. Anyone who's competing in Europe, so like your Man Cities, your Aston Villas, your Arsenals, they join in round 3. So they get a bye from round 2, basically.
So the current holders of the EFL Cup is Liverpool, who beat Chelsea 1-0. We went last season. We went into round 2 after losing on penalties to Bradford.
We went out in round 2.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
What did I say?
We went into round 2.
We went out.
So
Sorry,
first round of the EFL Cup, we beat Wigan on penalties. Second round, we lost to Bradford on penalties. So yeah, that's how that goes. Look, I'm not that fussed. We're not going to it. I'm working, unfortunately. I'm not going to lie to you. Even if I wasn't working, I'm not sure we'd be going to this.
We've been to
anyway.
Bramwell Lane before.
Yeah, it's already ticked off my list.
It's not a massive
Draw.
Yeah, it's not a massive draw. I mean, if it was like Liverpool or something like that, we probably would have worked a way around it somehow.
Maybe. I'm not even sure it would.
But let's talk about our next game, which is Sunday, the 18th of August. Obviously, originally it was supposed to be on the Saturday, but it's now been moved. So we are away at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium playing Bolton Wanderers. As I just said, the game's been moved. It's still 3 o'clock on the Sunday, as it would have been on the Saturday. So Bolton is about 62 miles away, which is just over an hour. Probably it'll take us longer to get back because I'll be driving back. So Bolton won on Saturday away at Leyton Orient 2-1. I'm scared, if I'm honest, about Bolton. So goals were from Dion Charles and Victor Adeboyejo. Adeboyejo, I can't say it.
Adeboyejo.
Yeah, that's the name.
Yes.
And so Bolton are actually currently second favourites to win the league.
They are, yeah. So
which makes it even more scarier.
Yes, it does look big club. They finished third last season.
Yeah.
They lost in the playoff final to Oxford. Our last league game against Bolton was a 1-0 defeat at the racecourse in May 1988.
Crikey.
Our last away game with Bolton was a 2-0 defeat in December 1987. Predictions, please.
Oh, 6. That's sickening.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to be, obviously I want Wrexham to win.
Yeah.
Obviously. But I think I'm going to go 2-1, I think, to Wrexham.
Yeah.
I know I was going to go 1-1 draw, a draw 1-1, but I'm going to be positive. I'm going to go 2-1.
2-1.
2-1.
2-1. I'm glad you didn't go 1-1.
Because you're going 1-1.
Because I'm going 1-1. I think to get out of Bolton with a point would be a huge...
Yeah.
That'd be huge. There's a few teams that, sort of 4 or 5 teams that I anticipate are going to be there or thereabouts at the end of the season. Bolton are one of them.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a tough game.
So to go to Bolton and come out of there with a point, if you imagine, I've got in my head 5 teams that are going to be sort of fighting for promotion in my head. So the 5 most difficult games are going to be away at them teams. So this is one of them. I'm going to be honest, I don't think I have ever predicted anything other than a Wrexham win. Since we started, we've been doing this podcast for over 2 years.
Yeah.
And I think this is sort of like, even when we were playing in the FA Cup against Sheffield United and people like that, I still went for wins. But I think we're now at a level where you go, a dose of realism here.
A point is better than none.
For me, a point... I don't think it's just a case of a point is better than none. For me, I think a point would be a great result.
A huge boost.
Yeah, look, I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you, I hope you are right.
Well, obviously, none of us got our predictions right on Saturday. I went for 2-1, you went for 2-0.
Yes, at some point during the game, we were both right.
But like I said again in the full-time live, I said, if I don't win the predictions, I'm happy as long as Ryan doesn't win. So we're both on the same amount of points at the moment.
Which is what, a big fat zero?
A big fat zero.
Yeah.
So
look,
I just wanted to say the Bolton Wanderers. There were tickets available on Saturday, but now I've just checked and they've all sold out now. So
yeah. So there's a really big allocation going to Bolton. Really excited. We're going to be there. Yeah, I am. I'm excited for this one. It's a ground I've not been to before. It's a ground, obviously, you haven't been to either. No. So we can both tick this one off our list together. And it's nice for me when you go into grounds you haven't been to before. I think it's nice I see loads of people on Twitter and on Facebook that are doing the 92. They're doing the 92 clubs, but they're just doing them randomly. They go into a game at this ground because they haven't been there before, which, yeah, that's all well and good. I just think it's better when you go with your own club.
To support your team.
Yeah, and I think that for me is the one that, I'm really excited to go to Bolton and to be supporting Wrexham doing that. I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. The plan for next Sunday is, as always, there will be a halftime show and a full-time show. As we learnt this week, on Saturday, that's not always possible. It is always dependent on the signal that we get.
Yeah.
I think possibly Saturday was the first time that we weren't able to do it because of signal.
Don't know.
Perhaps. But look, keep your eyes peeled. We will be at half-time in the Bolton game. We will be trying our very best to do it.
If you go onto YouTube, search obviously Me, the Wife from Wrexham AFC, and click subscribe. And also, if you click the bell, you will get notified when we do go live. So obviously, that'll be better than you just sitting there watching. In case we do come up, you will get notified.
Yes.
So that's probably the best thing. Subscribe.
Yes. Quick shout out for Dragon Chat. It's a mental health peer support group. They run 2 calls a week. They run one on a Monday at 8 p.m. and that is for women. And they run a Zoom call for men on Thursday at 7 p.m. All the details of how to get on that call, if you are watching us on YouTube, is down in the description. The best thing to do is follow Steve Lloyd on Twitter, which is at DragonChatWXMFC, for all the details of how to actually get onto that. It's a great service.
Definitely.
Quiz time.
First quiz of League One.
It is the first quiz of League One, yes.
We obviously had a break last week, didn't we?
We did, because I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
No, I did one last week. Didn't I do squad numbers last week?
I don't know.
Maybe the week before I didn't.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyway,
Let's move on.
It was nice to have a break anyway, whenever it was.
Yeah. Question number 1.
Yes.
We're due to play Sheffield United in the EFL Cup this week. Can you name one of the scorers, apart from Paul Mullin, when we drew 3-3 with them at the racecourse in the FA Cup in 2023?
No. Oh my God! Hang on a minute.
I'm hanging on.
Sam Dalby.
Sam Dalby.
I hate it when you do that.
Are you saying Sam?
No.
Okay. All right then.
Ooh. Jordan Tunnicliffe.
Jordan Tunnicliffe.
No.
No. Absolutely not. Do you want another stab? No. Okay. It was James Jones and Tom O'Connor. So, no. Number 2. After the game on Saturday, start that one again, shall I? Mm-hmm. After the game on Saturday,
yes.
I should have put a comma in. I would have known where I was. Which Wrexham player got the highest rating on SofaScore with 7.6 out of 10? Ooh.
Elliot Lee?
Elliot Lee?
George Dobson.
George Dobson. Incorrect. It was Jack Marriott.
Oh, Christ. Why didn't I go?
Number 3.
Yes.
We travelled to the Tough Sheet Community Stadium on Sunday, but where did Bolton finish in League One in 2003? No, I'm joking. Last season. It was third. Well done. Number 4. It's an interesting question, this one. Are you ready? You've been banging on about Dan Scarr not having a squad number since he signed, but he was on the bench on Saturday as an unused sub, so he obviously has a number. No. What number does he have?
17, I don't know.
Incorrect, it's 24.
Oh, crap.
You mentioned it earlier and I was like, just you wait for the quiz. He's obviously got a number. He was on the bench, so he's obviously got a number, hasn't he?
Do you know what it was? Because we bought the programme yesterday.
It wasn't in
there. And it wasn't in there. So,
wasn't.
Apologies, Dan. Yes, you do have a number. Yes. And it is obviously 24.
Yeah. Last question. Now, this was going to be, you have to give me 3 answers.
Oh, my God. And I get 1 point for it.
For 1 point. But I'm going to, because you've done terribly, I will give you a point for each one that you get correct. Okay.
if any.
If any, yeah, exactly.
We picked up 3 yellow cards on Saturday, but do you remember the 3 players who received them?
George Dobson.
Correct.
Andy Cannon.
Correct. I'll give you a helping hand with that one. The last one, I turned to you when they got booked. I go, that's a good yellow card, that is.
Ooh, hang on. I know exactly where that was at the time on the pitch. Stephen Fletcher.
It was Stephen Fletcher. Well done. As you got all 3, I'll just give you a point.
Oh, no.
I'm joking. You can have 4 points for that.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done. You clawed it back right at the end, I would say there, because I'd say there was an argument that you did terribly.
I don't think there's an argument to say I did terribly. I did do terribly.
Okay, up until the last question, and you sort of clawed back a little bit of dignity, I think.
Thanks.
Yeah. Happy days. Anyway,
Yeah, I
sorry.
hate these quizzes.
Yeah.
The bane of my life.
Bit of fun though, aren't they? Right.
You, maybe.
Yeah, it is fun for me. Thank you very much for joining us again this week. We're really looking forward to Bolton. I think what we're going to do next week, the game's on a Sunday, so it makes obviously recording episode 111 tricky, to say the least. But we're going to record it Sunday evening, just so we can talk about the Bolton game, rather than record it on the Saturday and it be a little bit. We might do it in a few different sections and then sort of split it up that way. I'm not sure at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see. But please do join us next Monday for episode 111. And until then, have a great week, and we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.